Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, I've got two very special guests all the way from Southern California. We have got USC women's swimmers, Gemma Schlicht and Letitia Transom. Letitia, Gemma, how are you doing today?
Hi, great. Thanks so much for having us on here. I'm doing really well, thank you.
Hi, I'm also great, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to talk USC, to talk Australian and New Zealand swimming with you. So let's start with the here and now. Obviously, USC's got an almost brand new coaching staff headed by Jeremy Kipp. We're a bit into this quarantine season where there's so much unknown. I certainly don't know what's happening in most of the world. Certainly not in the swimming sphere and what it's going to look like moving forward. But tell me about how it's been since you two have made your return to USC, especially under this new coaching staff. Gemma, could we start with you?
Yeah, it's definitely been, I think, an adjustment for everyone, just with the new protocol, obviously because of Corona, and then add on top of that, we've got 4 brand new coaches, who are all absolutely incredible. Kip has really reiterated sort of like an open line of communication between us as the swimmers and the coaching staff, which has been really helpful. I guess we don't really know always what's going on, and decisions are being made last minute, and it has been quite difficult to get a grasp on everything, but the coaches have done a really amazing job at letting us know when things are happening and what they know, even though sometimes they might not know that much, but they relay everything to us as soon as we can. And us as swimmers have, as a women's team here, have been really supportive of one another, and we've been really trying to have our own team meetings and checking in on each other and making sure that we're all handling this well, and if someone's struggling, we're making each other know that we're here for each other, and just trying to build a really supportive environment.
Letitia?
I think Gemma covered most of it there, but just to add, everyone is doing the best with the information that we have. As for our swimmers who aren't in that Olympic group, who are able to train, they're also still very supportive of the ones that are swimming. And, still we're unsure of what is to come, but we know that we're in the best hands with our coaching staff. And I think that once we are all back together, the team culture that we have will grow even further. And I'm looking forward to getting to know the freshmen a little more and the team that we have this year.
Yeah. So let's break it down a little bit. What does the day-to-day look like? Your practices, your training hours, are you able to are you guys on a full schedule yet, or is it still kind of varying? And how has this training kind of differed from last year's coaching staff's method of training for you two? Letitia, let's start with you.
I think Gemma would best be able to answer this question. I still am in the process of being medically cleared, so I am yet to be back in the pool. But if Gemma would like to explain for everyone.
All right, Gemma, let's throw it to you.
Yeah, so we've only just gotten back in the pool. We got back in last Thursday. So we've been back for just over a week now. We're sort of split, men and women at the moment. We're separate completely. And then within that, they've I guess like a way to get at least some of us back in the pool was by allowing swimmers with Olympic trial cuts to begin first. So we don't have a full women's team or a full men's team training yet. But basically it's sort of like a 2-day sort of cycle situation where, say, for example, the women's team will swim Monday morning, the men's team will have that morning off, and then we'll do weights Monday afternoon, the men's team will swim, and then Tuesday it sort of like switches. So then we get Tuesday morning off, the men will swim, and then we swim Tuesday afternoon. So it's kind of like a 2-day cycle for the moment. I think next week we'll start to add a couple more sessions in. I'm not like, I think this is a very sort of day by day thing. Like no one really knows. We just kind of take what we can get at this point. So we're all really lucky to have at least some of us swimming. And the coaches, it's been really great. So we've got obviously 5 coaches. So the way it's sort of been training sort of been is each session a different coach will write the session and then take us through it, which has been really great because we get to sort of learn how each coach coaches, I guess, like, and their style of coaching and their what sets they like to do. So that's been really, really great to get to know each one in that sort of capacity.
Definitely. I was always fascinated at college teams. You've got 5-6 coaches on deck. You've got 40-60 swimmers. I mean, it's a lot of personalities to mingle with and get to know. And it seems like a cool way to get to know those coaches, especially, again, brand new coaches on deck. Letitia, if you want to pass on this one, totally fine. But can you tell me a little more about, you said you're in the process of getting medically cleared. What is your situation currently?
Yes, so this morning we're not entirely sure what the cause of my past health issues have been, but I'm just in the process of neurological and cardio tests at the moment, and hopefully within the next month we'll have more answers and I'll be back in the pool then.
Gotcha. Hopefully, yes. Definitely back in the pool again. Seems like a good thing. So it's so interesting because, some colleges we've seen, they're racing, they're in full training. They've been back in the water for months. And it just goes to show everyone's situation is so different. Gemma, you mentioned you guys have been in the pool for a week. What, for both of you, and we can start with Gemma, what before this week, obviously, Letitia, you're still not in the water. What was just trying to stay in shape, working out, looking like for you these past couple months since you did return to Southern California?
Yeah, so there's a public pool out at Burbank, which is about, I guess, about half an hour away. That has sort of been our only option of pool swimming. So if we had time or wanted to go there, like that was sort of something that we had to do on our own. But the coaches we had this big Google Drive, and the coaches were uploading sets in there that we could use. So we could still sort of do their workouts. But that was just very much like on your own sort of swimming, and like when you can do it around classes and whatnot. And then I know the Men's House bought a big weight rack and some free weights that they were using in their backyard. So we've had that, and then sort of anything that you can and are able to do has been the way that we've been able to do it.
Letitia?
So, I mean, similar to what Gemma said, but I think also in this time, the coaches have really placed an emphasis on like maintaining your mental health. I mean, the training options were there to go to Burbank, but when you're taking class, that becomes a bit of a time management issue. And so I know other people have been running. Surfing has been big here. It's really nice that we're on the coast of California and we have the beaches. And I think everyone's just really enjoying the other opportunities we've had to exercise. And I think it's been healthy, like in terms of a mental reset. And yes, but getting back in the pool, I know for the swimmers, like it's been difficult, but important at the same time.
I can't imagine a nicer place to live in Southern California, to be honest. I've been to a USC beach workout, and it is, I'm gonna say it, I don't want to be biased, but it is the funnest practice in pancakes I've ever been to. I mean, doing a workout on the beach just seems awesome, whether it's surfing, swimming, running, abs, you name it. It is a really great environment, and it does seem like it would be conducive to having a nice mental reset and getting your head straight, especially during a time like this pandemic. So you mentioned the coast. You're from Australia. Letitia, you're from New Zealand. You've lived in Australia for a while now. Tell me about in March, you guys are coming off a really great Pac-12 performance. You're gearing up for NCAAs, and then quarantine hits. I know you both went home, but I'm not sure for how long. Tell me about your quarantine situations. Letitia, let's start with you.
Yes, so I left 3 or 4 days after the notice that NCAAs had been canceled. It was like advised by the coaches that would be best, and it was really nice. I was at home for 5 months, and so that time spending it with my family was super fun and unexpected. But it was a lot of in terms of the training and things that I did at home was just a lot of time with them, with our personal training group. Similar to what we kind of do in the weight room here, but more of a conditioning base as well. So that was very fun and cool. I did go back to train with my club team, only a few sessions because, again, I think for 2 or 3 months we had restrictions on the pools in Australia. It was also winter, so waking up at 5 a.m. was really cold. But I really enjoyed the time at home, and then coming back here, the decision was made due to the time zone difference, and taking class was a little difficult because I wanted to be present, but not at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So it's good to be back.
That all makes sense. And it's again, it seemed like a good reset, and it's cool to hear you're back taking classes at SC again, hopefully back in the pool soon. Yeah, Gemma, tell me about your quarantine.
Well, I think I left USC a couple of days after Letitia did. My parents were actually over here because they came to watch us at Pac-12s and then had the plan of sort of traveling and then meeting us at NCAAs. So I was able to fly home with them, which was nice. And then, I mean, like Australia has had very strict quarantine and restrictions for coronavirus. They really just wanted to try and like get rid of it as fast as they could. So when I got back, I was quarantined for 2 weeks at home. Now, if you return from overseas, you have to go into a hotel. So I was very lucky to miss having to get in before having to do that. That was also why we tried to get home as fast as we could, because we did not want to go to a hotel for 2 weeks. And yeah, a lot the same as Letitia. We pools and gyms and nothing was open for quite a while. And then once it did get open, I was able to train 4 or 5 times a week. which was nice, and sort of try and build back up. Because again, it was like a very long time out of the water. But I think a lot of us just really took that time. And I know a lot of the girls that stayed here and were home with their families here too, really just took the time to enjoy being with their families and enjoying a bit of time off and sort of appreciating little things that normally we don't get to. So like I would take my dog for a walk and little things like that, which I really enjoyed.
I had never spent time really, extended periods with Australians before last year, and I during the ISL season I got to meet a few of them, and they really sold me on the continent. Everything they said, I was like, huh, that sounds like something I'd like. And by the end of I was with them for 8 or 9 days. By the end of it, I was like, all right, yeah, I'd move here. It sounds pretty cool. So like you guys said, you got to spend a good chunk of time back at home after being in Southern California for a while. Southern California, not too bad either. But we're there. Obviously, there's cultural differences. I'm sure there's differences in the way people act, the way people move, the things you can do. Were there things that I heard? One of the things that really sold me was that I heard Australia has a great coffee scene and a great coffee culture. You can confirm or deny that, but were there things while you were at home during this period that you don't normally get to do in the U.S. that you really enjoyed doing while at home?
I mean, I can confirm the coffee thing. Like Australia has some of the best coffee. I am a little bit of a coffee snob over here. I'm very particular. I ended up getting a coffee machine for my my apartment, and I bring back here Australian coffee beans. So I can definitely confirm that. I think also like just one of the main differences about here in home with coronavirus is that we never had to really wear a mask at home because we did get it under control. So looking back on it, it was just very nice to just go for a walk and not have to worry about wearing a mask. But I think also too, especially living in Queensland where Letitia is, the beaches and everything are just so close. It's just a 5-10 minute drive to a beach and a long walk on the beach, and is really nice too. They're big stretches, and I think that's really something special about Australia.
Another thing to add there too is I personally, I don't love the beaches in California. I just feel like there are a lot of people around, and the water in Australia is very blue, very beautiful, and the sand it's always clean nearby and like almost white sand. It is a very different feel. The lifestyle too in Australia, I personally feel is more relaxed and laid back, and maybe that's because that kind of is our holiday time when we do get home and spend it with our family. I just think that when we come back to USC, it is very nice, both either way in Australia or here. USC though is always busy. There are so many meetings. You just have so many more obligations to fulfill. But I guess we have the best of both worlds, which is really nice.
So what I'm hearing is that America has crappy coffee, we have dirty beaches, and we're stressed out all the time because we have crappy coffee and dirty beaches. It makes sense. When quarantine's over, I'm moving to Australia. That's that. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend Americans. I just think Australia sounds awesome. So let's talk about it more. This will be my last Australia question, but you both have represented your home country internationally. and both competed in the U.S. Can tell me a little bit about your international experience and how that might be a little different than being, on an American-based team. Letitia, let's start with you.
My first international team, I was 16, so I was quite young, and it was the Commonwealth Games. There, I just didn't really have the greatest perspective on swimming, and at that time I felt really overwhelmed by the crowd, by the racing, the schedule of catching the bus to the pool, then the dining hall, the room situation. But I came to college and I absolutely loved dual meets, championship season, and racing. I'm very competitive, and I think that's been built upon the confidence that we gain from these dual meets. Although they don't feel like they mean much, it's just a really great practice, basically, to improve your skills, your technique, and prepare for the championship season.
I think like Letitia and I have definitely, especially in our first semester here together, we spoke a lot together about Australia swimming versus what it's like in college. And I think, in Australia, it's a lot more probably individual based, whereas here it's all about the team. And I think when it becomes all about the team, it takes some of the pressure off that might be there when, you're swimming in Australia, and it does feel can get quite like overwhelming. So I think here it's all about the team, and what we really noticed is when we're here in the US, we're swimming for USC and for the coaches and for the girls on this team, rather than in Australia it's more like you're swimming for yourself, and that's sort of something that was like a breath of fresh air for us. And we fell in love with, college swimming and swimming here straight away because of that.
So maybe there is something redeeming about the US. All right, we can settle on that. So you spoke about the team. Last topic I want to discuss is so last season, the USC women roster, I believe, was 15 athletes, which is, for a women's college swim team, it's pretty small. And I remember talking to Louise Hansen, who's a senior last year, NCAA champion for USC. And she told me that, and I kind of took a step back and was like, wow, that's kind of small. That's a little surprising. Tell me about the team dynamic last year, and then to end it on the Pac-12 that you had. What was that like moving through the season with a group like that? Gemma, let's start with you.
The team we had last year was so special. And I think one of the things that really showed us how special we were was in January, we had a dual meet against Washington, and it was around a time where about 80% of our team was really, really sick. So I think we ended up taking 7 or 8 girls to this dual meet in Washington, and it was one of the most incredible and inspiring dual meets I think I've ever been at. No one sat down the entire dual meet. If you weren't swimming, you were either warming down or you were cheering. And the way that we were able to get behind each other, and I think we ended up winning the dual meet with only 8 of us, but that really showed us sort of how special that team was, and we were definitely able to carry that through until Pac-12s. And I think also the team last year did a lot of work on sort of team culture and what we sort of expected from one another, and that was something that really made the team really special last year. And then I think also too, coming into Pac-12s, we were just had so much more confidence going into that meet than the team had sort of had before, just because we were all so close, because we were such a small team. And, you know, like we keep saying it, you know, we're the best of friends. And, you know, like even though we are teammates, we all are like best friends, and, you know, we all live together. And so it was just a really, really great and special environment to be in.
Yeah, to add to that, it was just a very genuine love and support for one another. And that was built through our training. We definitely made a big shift, both men's and women's teams. And at the same time, we were very competitive in the pool, in dual meets. And then once we got to Pac-12s, I just think that everyone felt very confident in their training. We had this one test set that we would do sometimes every single practice. I won't say it because PTSD, but thank you, Dave. That just really inspired us. And I feel like we knew going into that meet that it was going to be a great one. And especially starting off with the 800 free relay, that's one of our absolute favorites. And we did a lot of work. The four of us, Louise, Tatum, Gemma, and I, with Dave, and he really pushed us to be the best that we could, and that really got us off on a great note, and we just kept getting better every day from there. And I think day 3 we talk about was just one of the most amazing, and it was just like a fire, I guess, in everyone to be the best for one another.
Okay, I'm not going to ask about the test set, even though I'm dying to know. But take me through day 3. I got to hear that. You know, you talked it up. Take me through that day 3 and how you guys were able to be the best for each other.
So day 3, if I'm correct, it's either day 2 or 3 is 100 fly, 200 free. I think it's the hundreds of all strokes and 200 free. And for me personally, Gemma and Louise were in the 100 fly, and I absolutely love that because it calms me before my race, and I get to see them do their thing. They absolutely killed it. To be on the side of like the benches with the coaches as well, just cheering everyone on. And then I get to do my race, and swimming with Tatum was really cool. And just knowing that you have your teammate there beside you, it's just like practice. It wasn't as nerve-wracking. And then we get to see the backstrokers. The breaststrokers also did very well. We have a strong breaststroke group. And then finish it off with a relay is always a great time.
Yeah, I just think like so many people had their almost main events that on day 3. And, you know, especially you talk about things that, you know, you're not on day 1, you don't feel always that fresh by day 3. And especially for some of us, we weren't tapered at all for Pac-12. So, you know, day 3, you do have to sort of push a little bit harder. And it was just so inspiring to see race after race after race of watching our girls just push like past what they thought they could achieve, and just race after race just do absolutely exceptional.
I'm getting chills just listening to it. I was looking at Pac-12 results just before this interview, and just to give a little bit of context on what that day 3 looked like. Gemma, you ended 3rd in the 100 fly at 51.99. Letitia, you won the 200 freestyle, 142.3, I believe. And then to end that day with the 2 medley relay, where y'all placed 3rd. I mean, it sounds like for you two personally, and then as a team, it was a really exciting day to be a part of. So moving forward into this season, to wrap up this conversation, you know, in the next couple weeks, next couple months, what short-term goals do you have moving forward, especially with, you know, like we talked about in the beginning, kind of a lot of uncertainty and not knowing if you can even get in the pool, what pool time is going to look like. What are you trying to accomplish moving forward each day? Gemma, we can start with you.
I think sort of short term would be taking, each training day as it comes and using each day as a day to get better. We are all starting at different levels of fitness, and at this time is all about sort of encouraging each other, supporting each other in sort of whatever stage they're at the moment. And the coaches have been doing such a great job of that as well. And I think also too, because up until last week, we hadn't really even met some of the coaches in person. So just using this time also to just get to know the coaches and have them get to know us as well. And then just getting back into work and getting fit and getting fast.
Similar to Gemma, I still am yet to see the coaches in their element and taking us through a practice, but that I'm very excited for. As for my short-term goals in the meantime, obviously hoping to get some answers, and I really don't know what it will look like. I think even moving forward, we don't know about a season, a date, that we really don't have much to work with. But once we are in the pool, it's just about being the best that you can be on that day. I think improving strength and keeping your mind healthy, your diet right. Also, I love that we have had this time to focus on school, because we're 4 hours out of the day now is put into school, and that's how we've become competitive in that sense. We always have team GPA goals, and I really think that we'll be able to achieve those this semester. And I think everyone's just doing a really great job of being there for one another, and the energy is very positive at the moment.
Well, Gemma, Letitia, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with me for a little bit. I'm super excited for this swim season to get started whenever it might for the NCAA, for the Pac-12. But until then, I hope things go positively for you. And again, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.